I'd like to take just a few moments to tell you how much I love Phil and Sherry Barfoot and their entire team at Celebration Concert Tours. I would love for you to take advantage of any opportunity you have to consider partnering with them. They treat you and your folks like true heroes. When we've gone to New York City, when we've gone to Washington, D.C., man, those are experiences that will stick with us for a lifetime, and they could not have been better prepared or higher in quality. Everything is scheduled and organized exactly the way that you would want it to be if you were in charge. But you can't be in charge of everything. Phil and Sherry, their team, they take care of all the details so that you can focus on, well, staying in your lane, being an effective music and ministry leader with your people. You know, I've heard that the international tours that they sponsor are, well, incredible, and I look forward to an opportunity to take advantage of one of those. But whether you're going across the street or across the world, you want someone that's going to take good care of you and good care of your people. I don't think you could do better than CCT. One of the things I appreciate most about Phil is after all of his years of being so successful, so impactful to honor God in so many ways, he's never lost his love for people. He greets them with a smile at the bus. He's always, as a servant, well, pouring into other people. And yet he's on top of all the details. I appreciate that someone truly loves and cares for me and my people. I think that that may be one of the best distinguishers about Phil and Sherry Barfoot, their team, and Celebration Concert Tours. Don't miss your opportunity to partner with the best.
And it's my privilege to take just a moment to share a personal testimony with you regarding CCT, Celebration Concert Tours International, founded and led by Phil and Sherry Barfoot. What a friend they are to the local church. I'm here to tell you that back in June 2016, over 275 people from Woodstock jumped on a plane here in Atlanta, headed up to New York City, ministered, fellowship, had an incredible trip because of CCT. They are truly a five-star company. What do I mean by five-star? They get it. They understand that you are the most important person on the trip. And I promise you they'll attend to every detail that comes up regarding the trip. From the beginning to the end, your people will have the greatest experience ever. We did, we've used them, and we'll use them again. So I would encourage you to reach out to CCT today. No matter what size your choir, what size your orchestra, there's a place you can be involved. God bless you and have a great day.
Phil Barfoot and his team know what they're doing. Never before have I seen an organization take such great care of the big picture and be able to move such a large group from place to place, while not forgetting that that group is made up of individuals with unique needs and unique challenges. I would encourage you, let your people experience the trip of a lifetime. Look at all they have to offer. Your choir can do a standalone trip like we did, or you can do one of their joint projects that they do around Thanksgiving. And by the way, if you do that one, you will never regret it. So whatever your situation, however it works out for you, plan a trip with Celebration Concert Tours. Trust me, your people will thank you and you'll make memories that'll last a lifetime.
Hey everybody, it's Mike Harland, and I'm coming to you today just to give you a short testimonial about my friends at Celebration Concert Tours International, led by Phil Barfoot. Now, I know what some of you church music guys are thinking. You're thinking Phil Barfoot, the songwriter, the arranger, the guy that's given us all that great music all these years. Yeah, that Phil Barfoot. But there's part of Phil's ministry. If you haven't experienced it personally, you need to see how this guy creates experiences for choirs outside the church walls in great venues all over the world. I've had the privilege of traveling with Phil to New York and even over to Israel. I look for every opportunity to be with Phil. I've never seen anyone or any team cover more details about a travel trip for a choir than Phil Barfoot does. They are fantastic. It's almost like as you're on the trip, if you can think of something and you begin to ask about it, you don't even finish the sentence. They've already thought of it. They've already got it covered. Listen, if you want to take your choir somewhere for an experience of ministry outside the church walls, there's nobody, and I mean nobody, better at that than Phil Barfoot and the folks at Celebration Concert Tours. You should check them out. Whether you have a choir of 500 or a choir of 5, your group would love to travel with Phil. And you know what? I love to do it too, and maybe I'll be on the trip with you. I hope to see a lot of you there.
When my ministry music decided he wanted to take our choir and orchestra to New York City for some real honors, being able to go to Carnegie Hall and minister, and then to go over to Brooklyn Tab, we needed somebody to really set all of that up, and Phil Barfoot was the man. He did a fabulous job. That's why we're using him for Hawaii. There's going to be over 100 of us out of our church family going to vacation together. Man, he's helping us with our flights, got us a beautiful place to stay. The incentives have been incredible. They really have, to be able to offer a free breakfast. And if you've ever been to Hawaii, wow, the prices. And so I'm grateful to be able to just give a testimonial for Phil. And I'll tell you, pastor, ministry music, staff member, layperson, everyone who's going to lead this trip, you will be blessed by the incentives. You will be very overwhelmed by how Phil takes care of you at every angle concerning the trip. Very personable, right there with us, taking care of any hiccups that may come. So I'm grateful for Phil Barfoot. I would encourage you to do like we at First Baptist Church Woodstock have done, like I have done and my staff have done. Reach out to them and see how they can help your fellowship. And by the way, he's got a lot of existing tours already taking place, and you could just join right in on some of his tours and just bring your people right along, and that would be a great joy. We're doing that as well. Well, hope this really helps. Call me personally if I can be of any help to you to say more about our experience. God bless.
If you're thinking about the possibility of taking your choir and orchestra on a trip anytime soon, I would encourage you heartily to consider the possibility of working with Celebration Choir Tours. It's been our pleasure to work with them, and can I just tell you that Phil and Sherry Barfoot and their team do an amazing job. First of all, in the planning of all the details of the trip, and then carrying them out on the process during the trip itself. They do a great job. They give super attention to detail. And if something were to happen during the course of this trip and the A plan doesn't work, sometimes the B plan that they come up with is even better. They're never shaken by that. They do a tremendous job, though, on the front end of communicating with your people, communicating with you, and then carrying out. The thing that I like best about working with Phil and Sherry Barfoot and their team at Celebration Choir Tours is that they always have an eye toward mission work. They love helping choirs utilize their resources to share the gospel of Jesus Christ with a world that is in desperate need of his love. And so that is the thing that I like most about them, always working towards that mission. Again, I would heartily encourage you to think about the possibility of working with Phil and Sherry Barfoot, Celebration Choir Tours. My name is Herb Armentrout. I'm Minister of Music here at Broadmoor Baptist Church. Thanks for letting me share.
I was able to go on the very first trip that Phil took to New York City. I'm telling you, we had a great time, and people are still talking about the music, the ministry, and the new friends that they had as they took that trip. Another great aspect for you to consider when you're taking a trip such as this is the organization. And I want to tell you, the people Phil has there at Celebration Concert Tours, there's nobody better. From the very first thing in the morning to the very last thing at night, they are going to love and take care of your people. It allows you really to have a better relationship with them as Phil and his group take care of a lot of the responsibilities that go out through the day. And the final thing I want to say to you, the things that I consider when I'm taking a trip, is what impact will it have? What impact will it have on the people that I take, and what impact will it have on the people where we're going? And I want to tell you that through the gospel that is shared through the music, through the friendships and the relationships that we have, not only with us, but with the people we meet, it has great impact, and it's a great opportunity to continue the conversation of sharing the gospel. So I hope that when you consider taking a trip, that you'll consider Celebration Concert Tours. I'm telling you, when you take a trip, maybe I can come with you. It'll be a great time. Thanks for your time.
If you are considering a trip with your ministry team, I would highly recommend Phil and Sherry Barfoot and the Celebration Concert Tours team in Nashville, Tennessee. In my experience, they are the finest tour management team in the nation. We've made trips with CCT to New York, Washington, D.C., and currently working with them on a church-wide mission to Italy for the summer of 2019. Phil and his team will work to customize your trip for your group, or you may join one of their established ministry trips and enjoy worshiping and fellowshipping with choirs from all over the nation. They handle every detail with excellence, strong leadership, professionalism, and a very high degree of integrity. The staff is fun, organized, easy to work with, and go the extra mile to ensure a great experience for you and your team. Our people love them. We trust them. And our experiences have been phenomenal in every way. So if you're looking for a management team that will handle every detail for you, allowing you to focus on the music, the ministry, and spending time with your people, a team with a can-do attitude who will assist you in providing great ministry opportunities and world-class sightseeing, well, you've found your team. Celebration Concert Tours, Nashville, Tennessee. You'll be glad you called them.
Gotta tell you, if you've never taken a trip with Phil Barfoot and CCT, you really should. We have taken our choir to Austria, we've taken them to Italy, and this summer we're headed to London. And I gotta tell you, it is one of the best experiences you will ever have. Phil and his team take care of every detail. You are free as the director or as the pastor to just hang out with your people, to get to know your people, to spend time with them, to love on them. Phil and his team take care of every detail, from the food to the airfare to all of the traveling back and forth between locations. They book some amazing concert venues, and I promise that it will be an experience that you and your choir will never forget. It helps grow your choir, it encourages your choir, it challenges your choir, and it's something that you really, really need to do. If you haven't done it, I encourage you to go online right now, contact them, get some information. It'll make a big difference in your ministry, and it'll change your life forever. We love Phil, we love his team, and I promise it's something you won't regret.
I just want to take a second to tell you how much we love Celebration Concert Tours and Phil Barfoot. We had an incredible experience with them last summer as we took our choir and some of our band to Carnegie Hall in New York City. Three things I want to say about Phil Barfoot and Celebration Concert Tours. One is that they are personal. They take great pride in getting to know the people that they're taking with them on their trips. I felt like I was the only client they had because of the communication, the follow-up, and just the personal touch. The second thing I would say is that they are professional. Everything they did with an incredible amount of detail. Every T was crossed, every I was dotted. There was nothing that we worried about at all. They went ahead of us and behind us to make sure that it wasn't hard work for us. They did all of the hard work. The third thing that I would say is that the trip was phenomenal. I mean, our people were blown away. They returned asking me when they can go back, what's our next trip going to be? And I just think it was an incredible experience all around. So I would encourage you as a worship pastor, as a church leader, to use them on your next trip. The other thing that I would say is we had not been going on trips for a number of years. And so this was a new experience for me and for our people. And so we couldn't do it all on our own. And so Phil entertained the conversation of us joining with another local church and combining our trip and going together, and yet we still felt like we had all of the input that we wanted to have to make it our own. So I just appreciate them so much. Actually, I love them. And the next place we go, we will go with Celebration Concert Tours and Phil Barfoot. God bless you guys.
Over the years, maybe like you, we've used ministry trips in a powerful way with our worship teams. And recently, as we partnered with Phil and Celebration Concert Tours, we found that they could handle the details. They could plan the venues. They could plan the travel. They could work out the bus itineraries and the meals and the hotels in such a way that took the pressure off of us and allowed us to minister deep within our team and to experience the trip in a new and powerful way. I can't tell you what a life-changing experience it is to go on one of these mission trips with Phil and to see your team build community with themselves and sometimes with other churches, and then also to see them witnessing for Christ literally in venues around the world that we couldn't possibly plan in a way like Phil does. Everything they do is with excellence. I hope that you'll utilize Phil and his team at Celebration Concert Tours International. If you're planning a trip, and if you've never gone on a trip, man, I encourage you. You should try one of these trips. It's life-changing for you and for your team members.
I'd like to talk with you just a minute about Celebration Concert Tours. I have been traveling with Phil and Sherry Barfoot for almost a decade with the events and the things that they do with their ministry. And I just want to take a second and tell you how valuable those experiences have been to me. I've traveled with them not only as an artist, but also as a worship pastor. I brought people in my ministry at my church on these trips. And I just got to say, they're amazing. Every time that we've been on a trip, we have come back with such a meaningful worship experience, no matter where we've been. You know, there are two resources that are really important to keep in mind when you're doing things like this: the resource of time and the resource of money. And what I love about these events is that this crew right here, they take care of both of those things and make sure that we are making the most with both of those resources. And so I always come home from these events spiritually renewed, refreshed, and excited about what God has done. I love that. I love stepping into these venues and going into these places and having an experience with the Lord that watermarks my life in a lot of ways. And that's what I'm looking for in a ministry trip like this. And that's what Celebration Concert Tours does. So I just want to take this moment today and recommend them to you. I know there are a lot of great options out there and ways that you can have ministry experiences and travels, but there's none quite like these guys. And so I highly recommend them to you today.
Celebration Concert Tours is really a touring ministry operated like a first-class business. I love this ministry because of Phil Barfoot and his vision for choirs and the ministry of the choir and orchestra in the local church. Phil is not only a great musician and a wonderful songwriter, Phil is a tremendous tour guide. You know, sometimes you take a tour and you actually have to carve out ministry opportunities. Not so with Phil Barfoot. The ministry is first and foremost. The touring is secondary. I love Phil because he wants to do everything for the glory of God. We had the privilege a few months ago on going to New York with Brother Phil and Celebration Concert Tours. We had a great time. Every step was planned out. Every segment of the trip had meaning and purpose, and we just had a great time serving the Lord. His staff is warm, they're cordial, they are ready to help. They all have a real servant heart, and so they were there to take care of us in a grand way. So I recommend Celebration Concert Tours because they give all the glory to the Lord. It was also a great opportunity for the choir and the orchestra to come together. I had a number of orchestra members that joined us, and if they didn't sing in the choir, they came with a spouse or they helped on the road with certain responsibilities. So it was an opportunity to really merge the orchestra and the choir, and sometimes we don't get that opportunity other than on Sunday morning. So Phil, thank you for being such a dear friend. I've known you since the 70s. You have been consistent, you've been steadfast, you love the church. And another thing that you do, you really put a high premium on the ministry of the choir for the church today. And that is huge. I believe in the choir too, and you do as well. So thank you for that endorsement and the support of the choral ministry in the local church today. God bless you. I recommend Celebration Concert Tours wholeheartedly, and I hope many churches have the privilege of going with you and your staff to minister the unsearchable riches of Jesus Christ. God bless you.
It has been my joy to be a part of a couple of trips with Phil Barfoot and Celebration Concert Tours, and I want to recommend them to you today. We've had wonderful experience with Phil and his team as they've taken the load of planning a choir tour off of our team's shoulders and done a lot of the hard work in preparation for that. They've also opened up wonderful doors that would have been difficult for us to get into, and we are grateful to them for that. Apart from all that, Phil has become a trusted, good, close friend, and I'm thankful for him and his team and all that they do to help us build our worship ministries and engage our people in doing ministry all over the world. I highly recommend Celebration Concert Tours to you.
I've had the opportunity to take my ministry team on 2 trips with CCT. The trip to the Holy Land was incredible. Seeing the sights and walking where Jesus walked was the trip of a lifetime. And what made it extra special was the attention to detail Phil and his team put into the trip. Not only was the transportation, the hotels, the food, and the itinerary perfectly planned, but Phil went above and beyond by providing us places to stop and worship, reflect, and fellowship. Carnegie Hall was a fantastic experience too. My choir, along with several other groups, came together to worship with some great gospel artists. We shared in music and times of worship together that we'll remember forever. Both of these trips not only provided wonderful venues for us to sing and celebrate our Lord, but they brought our people together into sharing experiences that I know each one of them will never forget. They have created excitement in our choir and in turn caused us to grow spiritually and numerically. You might be thinking, how can I make this happen? Well, just give Phil a call and he'll take care of the rest. You and your ministry will be glad you did.
We had the opportunity this last summer to join the team from Celebration Concert Tours for the Best of Italy tour. It was amazing. Our team had a fantastic time. We joined with the great folks from Idlewild Baptist Church. And I want to tell you, every aspect of the trip was terrific. From the time that Phil joined us here in town to tell us about the details of what we would experience, to the time that we arrived in the country of Italy, the transportation was amazing, the lodging was first rate. We had an incredible time. And I think one of the things that I enjoyed the most is the team from CCT really took such great care of our people, watching every detail, making sure they had the experience of a lifetime. So I just want to encourage you, if you've not yet joined in on one of the trips, do it. You will not regret it.
I just want to give a shout out to Phil and Sherry Barfoot and the great people at Celebration Concert Tours. I've taken 4 or 5 trips with them over the last 3 to 4 years, and they've done an incredible job. Taking another one this summer with them, and I just can't say enough great things about them, the way they plan the trips and organize them, and really take all the work off of you so that you can enjoy and be with your people. So I highly recommend Celebration Concert Tours to you if you've got any plans to take a trip coming up in the next year or 2.
I wanted to recommend that you take a trip with Phil and Sherry Barfoot. They did a super job for us. We took a group of our choir members to New York City back in 2016. It was a great experience. Phil and Sherry had all the details down to a science, and we just had a great time. I didn't have to worry about a thing. It was so much fun. We had a great time. I hope that you'll take a trip with Phil, because we're considering going again real soon. You won't be sorry.
A couple of things I want to communicate to you about Celebration Concert Tours, Phil Barfoot and his team. Number one, they're consummate professionals. Everything they do is with excellence. They took such good care of us, and they knew the trip inside and out. Number two, they're going to love your people. They're going to take great care of your people and not see them as a dollar sign, but instead see them as true ministry opportunities. And number three, they always have ministry as the forefront. In other words, it's about kingdom advancement. So it's not just a trip to have fun, which you will, but you will see incredible opportunities to impact people's lives. Our folks are still talking about it. In fact, they can't wait for the next trip. So I wholeheartedly recommend Phil Barfoot and Celebration Concert Tours to you. Make that decision now. You will not regret it.
I've been at my church for over 22 years, and through those years, I've often looked for ways to get my team outside the walls of the church and into the community. I have to tell you that booking a trip with Phil Barfoot and Celebration Concert Tours has been one of the best ways I've found to do this. Not only did it give us a common purpose to get outside our walls, but it also created space for those who travel together to get to know one another on a deeper level. This benefit lives on today in the lives and hearts of my worship team. We are currently preparing for our second trip with Celebration Concert Tours and hope there will be more in the future. Phil and his team are ready to serve and assist with many of the details that often are overwhelming when thinking about a trip with a group of people. They have connections all over the world, and they do a good job of combining ministry and fun in places where most people would like to travel. There are a ton of trip options available and more coming online every few months. If you haven't traveled with Phil, you're in for a wonderful treat. His positive attitude is contagious, and his hugs are pretty much mandatory when you climb off of a bus. So if you're looking for a fresh way to engage and motivate your choir, give Phil and his team a call today and get ready to be blessed.
If you are thinking about taking a trip with Phil Barfoot and his staff at Celebration Concert Tours, I would just say do it. You won't regret it, I guarantee it. The amount of attention that is taken into account is just unbelievable. I remember on one occasion, on our second trip to the Christmas in New York package, there was a cold snap that came in while we were up there. And one morning, as we were making our way to breakfast to the restaurant, not only does he and his team provide a detailed map so you can get there without any problem. It's very clear. But we began to notice his team standing on each corner, every block. There was somebody from his team standing there to give directions to us, to make sure we didn't make a wrong turn or anything like that. And we made it to the restaurant without any problem. They just take care of you that way, and to make sure that you get to where you need to go at the right time. You will find out that they will love you while you're on this trip. They will take care of you and your needs. And their heart is to minister to your heart while you are in their care. So, like I said, if you're thinking about taking a trip, I would say do it. Do it. You won't regret it.
I want to encourage you to use Phil Barfoot and Celebration Tours to go on your next trip. I've been on several trips with them, and I'm telling you, there's nothing like it. These guys are well organized. We go to some of the greatest places you can possibly imagine. And because of Phil Barfoot, I've sung in everything from Carnegie Hall to St. Mark's Cathedral in Venice. Those are the kind of places you'll get to go and sing with your choir. And so I would encourage you, sign up, do a trip. You won't regret it. It's a lot of fun.